Well, howdy everybody. Welcome show into McFadden, Texas. Specifically, welcome to the Bluff Ranch. We're today, I'm fixing to get on the pickup here and spread some corn. But this is Jackson, this is Byron. They're the owners of the Bluff Ranch. So this place right here is a private ranch. They don't sell commercial hunts at all, but they're friends of ours, and they want me to kill some pigs. How many pigs can I kill?
Every one of them you ever see. Please, all and then some more, please.
You good with that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the spreader. We're going to go around the pasture. We're going to throw some corn out. And then later on this evening, we're going to hop up in the stands and get to work. So this is the time of year, it's kind of in between deer season and turkey season. There's really not much to hunt in Texas except feral hogs. And that's what we're going to be doing on today's show. And the area that we're hunting is an area that I don't have a lot of experience hunting in. This is right on the coast. This area is rich with wildlife. I mean, we came out here during the deer season and brought Maddie.
Here it goes. Good Lord.
Here we go. Holy smokes. Good job.
Thank you.
So I'm going to be hunting in one stand, and Johnny, who is my producer, sales guy, right-hand man, like a son to me, Johnny's going to be hunting another blind.
All right, so I'm sure that there are a lot of cool bosses out there, but I would like to think that I got the coolest boss around. Keith and I have a great relationship. He's a great mentor to me. The stuff that we do allows me a lot of different experiences that I don't think I could get anywhere else.
All right, Johnny, let's see if we can get
Let's get this done. Take him. Very nice. Good shoot.
Very nice. Smoked him. Nice smoked puppy.
I've been able to go on a lot of hunts, both filming and shooting, and I'll tell you what, they're memories that I'll never forget.
Okay, everybody ready? Yeah. All right, here we go.
Take him.
Johnny, you beauty. Oh my God. Oh man.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the emotion flowing through me right now. I can't believe it. Seriously, I feel like I'm in like some other world right now.
Oh my gosh. That was the best payoff to any hunt I've ever had. It was amazing. This trip, I'm gonna be going after some feral pigs. Now, I've done a lot of hunting in my life, deer, turkey, but I've done a little bit of pigs, but nothing too crazy. Not like what Keith does.
Look at the hogs right here. There it goes. Woo! What a night. All right, so the guns that we're using on this trip, so Johnny's gonna be using a little pistol. It's a 300 blackout pistol. It is cool looking. All that little white stuff on there, that's made by Timber Creek, and it really customizes this little pistol, and it is a sweet shooter.
It's a perfect gun for a Spot N Stalk.
And then the rifle I'm shooting is a 223. And the first shot, when I checked zero, I was dead on. So after that, it was time to head to the field. It's some good looking country for hogs, and everything's starting to green up. We're driving right now trying to learn the lay of the land, and I've got a feeder on the back of the truck here. It's a spinner feeder full of corn. We're going to be corning some roads, then going back after dark tonight and checking these corned roads and see if we can find sounders of hogs or even individual boars out on that corn, and get the wind right on them and sneak up and see if we can get some pigs on the ground. Before dark, what we're going to do, we're going to hop in some of these blinds, and we're going to sit and see if we can ambush a pig that way. Our mission right now is to chum up the pigs. There are so many hogs on most of these pieces of property. We can take a Reconex camera and put it up on just about any spot, and it's going to capture pictures. All the country they have to roam down here, it's real important to kind of get your confidence in Spot. And so this is the way we get our confidence. All right, so I've got a pretty good setup here tonight. I've got a feeder about 50 yards out in front of me. I sat here back in deer season and shot a really nice boar hog. And so I decided it's springtime, so I'd come down here and see if I could get lucky and hopefully take a feral hog. So far, the only thing showed up, I've got a couple of sandhill cranes out in front of me. I'm shooting a battle-worn red rifle here. If you take a look at it, this is a beautiful rifle. It's got timber green on it. And you'll notice I have it topped off with a Pulsar trail rifle scope. And the cool thing about doing this is that if all I had was just a regular scope on here, I wouldn't be able to hunt till tomorrow morning if I want to. But anyway, I'm gonna stay put and see if I can put a hog on the ground and fill the freezer. Sandhills have paired up. Every time you see one, there's two. If I can get a shot, hopefully, and there's more than one hog, I'll wind up getting a shot at one hog and then maybe a second or even a third before they get back to the cover. Getting close to that time. It's getting dark, and I mean, this is eerie. Okay, and as it starts getting dark, I think this is weird because this place should be covered up with hogs. And the next thing I know, I look up, it's like, they're at the feeder right now. All right, so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, all right, they made it all the way to the feeder. I didn't see them coming, but they're there. And they're feeding around. It's like, okay, time now, I got to pick one out for a shot. So what do? You pick the biggest one. And then you think, well, wait a minute. I want to see if I can get two with one shot. And then you know what? You just start cutting loose. Those hogs, honestly, I think if I was a hog, what would I be thinking? It's raining lead. All right, so just as predicted, I got in the stand and wound up. It was a perfect night. The conditions were really good. But the cool thing is about this gun, I want to tell you, when you have a rifle that is equipped with a thermal scope, it's the Pulsar Trail. It has a laser rangefinder on it, and you can sit out until dark, and then after dark, if you're hunting in an area where it's legal to hunt hogs after dark, and I mean, it levels the playing field. And we got a couple of really nice hogs down, so we're going to go over there and see what we got. You know, after setting these guys up, I realized that the one thing I have difficulty with when I'm using a thermal scope is determining size. I had no idea this hog was as big as what it was. I mean, that's a perfect eater right here, the smaller one, probably about 50 pounds, but this guy right here probably about 120, 130 pounds, for this girl, I should say. And it's just classic. This is a springtime in Texas, okay? Everything's just starting to turn green, and the hogs were hammered during deer season, so they're still smart. They're not coming out till dark, and so right after dark, about an hour later, I looked through the thermal, and bam, they're right underneath the feeder. So I picked these guys out, put them on the ground, and the rest of them took off. But we're gonna go ahead and get these guys cleaned up and see if we can get some more. That's a pretty good deal. Good way to start anyway.
We saw a bunch of pigs out at this feeder. They're probably about 200 yards away right now, so I'm gonna take the PDW and try to go get on them. And then we're still gonna rush and try to get in the stand, so we're gonna see what happens.
We're going up there, and Johnny's like Rambo. He's crawling on the ground, and he's looking back at me. And then he's crawling over. I'm like, go on, man, go on.
All right, so I snuck up there, shot one of those pigs. I heard the shot. Sounded good, but it's not quite sure where he is with all this thick brush. So we're gonna run to the stand and try to get set up, and then we're gonna come back and look for him later this evening with the thermal, and hopefully we'll be able to find him. So, see what happens. In case you can't tell from the sweat on my face, it is a warm evening out in Texas. I'm sitting about 50 yards from a corn feeder, and I'm hoping that some feral pigs will come in so I can fill up my freezer with some good old-fashioned wild pork. I'm staring at
Bunch of ribeyes in the sky right now. They're sandhill cranes. They're not on the menu tonight. Just no pigs yet. Still got a little bit of daylight left, and that thermal's gonna help us hunt way into the night if we need to. So I'm sitting in the blind, and before you know it, I hear off in the distance, and I know that means one thing. I got pigs coming in. As soon as I hear these pigs, I whip out my Pulsar Helion and I start filming them, and I got that red thermal going on, and they look awesome. Now there's a whole bunch of them, but I pick out this one big old boar, and I want to focus in on him. So I'm taking my time, and of course this big one is the only one that is behind the feeder. That's okay though, because I'm just not gonna be in a rush, and as soon as he steps out from there, I'm gonna take my shot. Finally, he makes a mistake, and he steps around to the side, and he presents a perfect broadside shot. Boom, as Keith says, a covey of pigs just scattering all over the wind. So the dust kind of settles, everything calms down, and all I know is I got one monster boar on the ground. Whew. Well, that was kind of hectic right there. That was awesome. All right, everybody, here he is. Gosh dang, we started this hunt during the day, and the beautiful part about hunting with thermal is that it allows you to go longer, right into the night. So I had the Helion out, and I actually caught these pigs coming in. They showed up real bright and red, and they got up under the feeder, and this guy, I had him picked out from the very beginning. He was tough to get on though. Of course, he was the only one that was hiding behind the feeder and couldn't quite line up the shot, but I wanted to take my time and get him first. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take the thermal and see if we can go out and get some more pigs, have a little bit more fun. But what a great hunt, great time. Pork in the freezer.
I think hogs are a lot smarter than people give them credit for. At nighttime, if you've got a moon out there and you can see them, they can see you. I really believe that. So a hog's vision is not as bad as what you think. And their hearing, they got pretty big ears, okay? Their hearing pretty doggone good. But their nose is good or better than a bloodhound. And you better do everything you can to hunt into the wind and do everything you can to reduce human odor. And we do that. All right, so we cornered this one road, and I mean it's a long road, it's probably 2 miles long. And we got out the wind, it's absolute perfect, right in my face. I was like, oh, this is gonna be too good. And I stopped, I'm carrying my Colt Jaeger, and I've got my rifle in one hand, and I reach over and I grab my Helion out of my pocket, and I'm like going, okay, all I gotta do is just walk up there real quietly and set up. And so the cool thing about this one spot is, and I didn't realize how good this was gonna be, is that the pasture right next door had cattle. Okay, and those cows were making all kinds of racket. Of course, they knew that we were there. The cows, we were walking right past them, moo, they're spooking and stuff like that, making a lot of noise. Anyway, but I'm getting closer to the hogs, closer and closer, and all of a sudden it's like, holy smokes, there's some right there. I can see them. I mean, it's like, I can see them in the moonlight. I don't even have to have the Helion on it. So I set up the sticks, I get the gun on there, and I mean, they're walking in. This is just a layup. They're coming in like crazy. Well, I've got other hogs past me those were the ones I was going to. These right here, they're just a gimme. So I'm waiting, and they're just filing out like this, just filing out. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm covered up. And so anyway, I wait and wait and wait, and chaos breaks out. So I knocked this one down. I mean, they all run off. I'm thinking, holy smokes. The ones in the back, they kind of stood there a little bit and took off. I'm thinking, keep in mind, I'm shooting a suppressed rifle, so it doesn't make a lot of noise. So down the road I go a little bit more, and lo and behold, that group of hogs that was down there wasn't even spooked at all. They came right back out and fed, and it was their last supper. There goes. Okay, well that does it. We wound up, we had a pretty good time down here. I mean, this part of Texas, I have not spent a lot of time down in this coastal region of Texas hunting. that's just outside of McFadden, and I mean, as you can see, it is covered up with feral hogs. The landowners really like people coming down that they trust to kill hogs. Now, when you hit them in the right spot, they go down, like I say, like a 2-foot putt. But this new ammunition from Sierra, this is the game changer, and the game changer is devastating. It has unbelievable performance on thick-skinned, heavy-boned animals, just like these feral hogs. Of course, none of these guys were very far at all, but it was a heck of a night, and we're gonna go ahead and get these guys cleaned up right now.
You know, working with Keith and Maddie, it is awesome. I spent a lot of time with my family growing up, especially hunting, deer, turkey, all that stuff. But you know, getting to work with the high road, it's just become another family to me. They're great people, and we sure have a lot of fun, and we really work hard. A lot of people, they don't know what goes into the show and what it takes to make it. So getting a chance to also get behind the camera and do that aspect of it, it sure does mean a lot to me. And I really appreciate my team. They're good guys.
Was that for me?
No, it's for her. I didn't have a bow, so I put a balloon.
This is another great trip. I mean, you know, hog hunting is one of those deals. It's just like any kind of hunting. It is what you make of it. And it's all about the relationship, not just the relationship between the hunter and the hunted, but the hunter and the landowner. And being able to spend time with landowners and to build that relationship better and stronger, and be able to see the young kids out here that they're going to take care of this land one day. I love it, and I'm grateful for the relationship that I've got with these folks. My name's Keith Warren. I want to thank you for watching The High Road. Y'all don't have any idea how lucky you are to have a daddy like that loves you so much that he's given you the most important thing in the world right now. It's time. Time. Okay, he's giving you his time. And most parents don't spend the time with their kids like he spends with y'all. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, you'll see one day. You'll see.
One day, y'all figure that out, because that's the best thing we could do is spend
Thank
time
you.
with these guys.
Dang right.
Keith, appreciate it.